All right, this is gonna be a fun one. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren, and today in this episode, I'm going to be talking about finances, okay? Now, the reason why I wanted to make this video is not typically you're tilted. Stop being tilted. The reason why I wanted to make this video is because, you know, people don't teach you this. You learn this kind of stuff. And, you know, I always look for kinds of videos that make me, you know, more well off, more kind of grounded, have a more understanding, if you will, of everything in the world. Because school just takes your money and it shoots you out to just kind of get crapped on, basically. That's how I view the school system. But we won't talk about that one. So I wanted to talk about finances. I want to talk about what I do, what I did, what I've done, what I do now. I'm 23 years old. I am living in Center City of Philadelphia, right smack dab in the center. I live with my girlfriend, and we have my 16-year-old cat. My bill every month for rent is around $950. And then my girlfriend pays her half and stuff like that. So that's what I am paying. And we both pay for groceries and other things like that. And then bills, we split the electric bills, trash, everything like that, we split. And then, you know, of course we could go a little out to eat on our anniversaries, you know, we splurge and stuff like that. But in this video, I kind of want to talk about all of that, right? How I got to this point. You know, I'm not rich or anything by all means at all. I'm not saying that I'm rich. I'm not claiming that I'm rich. I'm not even close to being rich yet. But here are some things that I do to save money. I'm debt free. So I'll talk about that also in a moment. But I came from a lower middle class family. You know, they work really hard for their money, and, you know, they've raised me to know the value of a dollar, basically. And so ever since I was 15, I always had a job. Whether that be 2 or 3 jobs, I always had a job, and I always had school, and I always had basketball. So I was always working. I was always trying to work because I knew that college was going to be expensive. I was going to have to pay, you know, my phone bill, my life insurance, my things like that, like my sections of living, basically. When I was in high school and when I got to college. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to pay all this money, and, you know, I better start saving up. So basically, when I was in high school, I really didn't go out with friends that much, mostly because I had basketball, and that kind of took up most of my time, and then I had to study and do all that stuff. So, you know, I never really went out with friends. Unless it was like, I don't know, like a Saturday or something, possibly. But again, I didn't really have that many friends, so I was fine on the whole, like, spending that much. I didn't really shop that much. I got most of my clothes from my brother, so, you know, that was what it was. And so I just kept saving this money and saving this money and saving this money. And when I got to college, my parents did help me pay for college, but otherwise I had to pay for the books, which were like, you know, $200, $300 for you to read like once in or whatever. You know, again, phone bill, life insurance, things like that. Cars, I had to pay for my car, I had to pay car insurance. So, you know, everything else I paid for. But yeah, so through all that, I've had 1 job, 2 jobs, or even 3 jobs. Under the table, over the table, I'm all over these tables, basically. I worked really hard in high school and college to be able to, you know, save up. And what I was saving for an apartment in New York City, because that's where I wanted to go. That's where I wanted to be at the time. That was what I truly wanted. So I had enough in savings to afford 3 months of rent in New York. And that's what I had. And then, you know, eventually, once I got in college, I had to start paying rent on the room of my house. So I was like, well, instead of me just paying rent, let me just move out and pay rent somewhere else. You know what I mean? So that was a whole thing. So here are some of the principles that I kind of had my mentality set during high school, college, and even now, I still carry to this day. Live like you are broke. Live like you are broke. Because let's be honest, you are. Okay? We all are. We are all broke. If you're watching this video, you're broke. I'm broke. Okay? So I always like to live like I'm broke. Okay? Shopping at places that are cheap. Grocery stores. Grocery bargain outlet market. If you have one around you, go to it. Yeah, the food might be going old in about a week, but I'm telling you what, it's about $5, $6, $7 cheaper than what you would get at a regular grocery store. Okay? Aldi's cheap. Go to Aldi. There's a lot of Aldis around. Go to Aldi. Aldi is cheap. Find budget things and stick to it. I can't stress the amount of times where I wanted to buy something and I just can't justify the price. I can't afford it, you know? I take budgets, right? I found some videos on YouTube on how to budget. And, during college and stuff, I was budgeting. I literally made a budget for every single month. And I'm trying to get back on it now because, I had a whole bunch of everything happening. But I do think budgets are very nice because you get to see where you're putting your money, where you're spending it, and also what you're saving. So budgets are something that's helpful when you're living like you're broke, okay? So that way you can physically see where everything is going, okay? Because I'm a visual person. I like visuals. If you are shopping for branded clothes in a mall, you need to change that. You need to change that. Your spending habits on clothes, on accessories, things that you don't need, do not get. Go to the thrift store, go to Goodwill. You will find name brand things there. Do not pay full price for it, okay? If you are living frugally, that means you do not spend things on things you do not spend money on things you cannot afford. Okay? You go and you get coupons. You go and you go to the thrift stores. You go and you find the cheapest ways to do things. Mostly couponing. Couponing is so good. There are so many websites out there where you can get free trials of samples of food. That's what me and Haley have been doing. We've been doing free trials of things, free. You text whatever code offer and they'll give you if you buy this product and send us a picture of the receipt, we'll reimburse you. And so we've been doing that, and that's kind of how we get some of our food for free, which is so nice because when you're living broke, free food, it makes you happy. You're like, yeah, I got that for free, and it's so nice. Another thing that helps when you're living broke, go get Too Good To Go. Get on the app. I'll have a link down in my description below for all of these things that I'm about to mention. But Too Good To Go, that's basically when a fresh bakery is done for the day, their hours are closed and they have leftovers and they try to sell that for cheap. Go get that stuff because you can freeze it. You can freeze bread and have it be fine. Go get fruits and vegetables. Go do that stuff because I swear Too Good To Go is just like Aldi, but you just go to the place and you pick it up and you're fine. You order it there. It's all good. So Too Good To Go is another app that I strongly suggest because it's like restaurants selling their stuff for cheap because it's the end of the night and they don't want to throw away the food. So they try to make a last minute income off of that, basically. Have multiple sources of income. This is something that for me has been super, super important. I'm a filmmaker, right? I'm a videographer. Jobs come when they come. Nothing is stable. So by having multiple sources of income, it kind of saves you from, oh my God, I have to pay my rent bill tomorrow. Where am I going to get this money from? Having multiple sources of income is key when you are trying to literally survive. DoorDash, Poshmark, selling your old clothes, selling anything you don't desperately need right now, selling it, okay? I do, I try to sell my photos. I try to do YouTube. I try to do and have a lot of multiple sources of income. I try to do stocks, get into it, get into the little Robinhood stocks. Okay, I'll put my link down in there below too. You get like a little thing if you sign up with my code. But Robinhood, start investing your money. Because if you invest it now in your 20s, that means you're going to be at least a millionaire when you're in your 50s, or maybe like even 60s. So start investing that money. And there are so many sources where you can learn what the best companies are to invest in. I always do the ones that are like VOOG or some of the things like that where they have multiple companies into one. Those always tend to just grow no matter what. So put money aside for stocks and let it sit, because overall it will start growing, okay? Get into stocks as fast as you can when you are young, because if you start investing now, you will get a lot more money later on in life. Trust me. Put your money in different envelopes, okay? This is called like the envelope method or something. This is just something that's worked for me, okay? I used to have an envelope for New York City. That was like my rent, basically. And I was working an under-the-table job and an over-the-table job, so I would get cash with my under-the-table job, and I would just put it in that envelope. I also had an envelope for a van that I wanted to get, because I was like, oh, well, let me just travel across the country in a van. That was a dream, so I put money in there. So I would have multiple envelopes, and I would put money into them. Or you can do the same thing, essentially, with checking accounts. Whoever you bank with, open that many checking accounts that you want to open, right? These are your envelopes. First off, don't get the debit cards. Cut them up. You don't need that. Do not spend money out of your checking accounts that you cannot afford or is not for that intended purpose. Have a checking account for fun money, right? Have another checking account for bills that you need to pay. Have another checking account for the income that you make from your other job, and that way you can divvy it up into your savings or your other checking account for bills. Have a safety checking account for like when crap hits the fan and something breaks and you need to fix it, but you don't have money for it. That's like the oh crap account, okay? So have multiple places to separate your money so that you know and you have a better sense of safety financially when you look at these accounts. So whenever you get a paycheck, start divvying it up. Okay, how much money do I need to spend for the month? How much money do I need for food? How much money do I need for bills? So divvy it up and then put money in places where you have all these different accounts. If you are 20 years old and in your 20s, like me, 23, okay? Stop paying for drugs, okay? Get off the drugs. Get off, alcohol, the weed, all that kind of stuff. You don't need that right now. Because if you're broke, you cannot afford that. You can't afford that lifestyle. Now, trust me, I've dabbled in a bit of that, and it's expensive. It racks up. So just quit it, because A, you're wasting your money to feel good for an hour. Take that money and spend it smarter elsewhere. Put it into any one of those other accounts. Stop buying things that are bad for you, that will suck up your money, and it will physically break you. So get off the drugs, any kind of drug, alcohol, weed, cigarettes, whatever your little, fetish is, get off of it. You don't need it. It's sucking up your money, and you have better places to put your money. This kind of goes along with the selling things. Don't buy things that you do not need. If it is not a necessity to you, if you can scoot by for a little while until you can save up a little bit of money to afford that thing, you don't need it. If you, I don't know, if it's not an essential for your well-being, your living, anything, don't buy it. Save it, put it in a little, cart, whatever. But until you get your money up and you can afford it, you cannot afford it, so don't buy it. Having credit card debt is one of the most scary things that exists, and people are trying to normalize it. I'm like, honey, no. Because not only do you get bad credit score, so you can't therefore then buy a car or a house when you need to, but you also get charged for the statement balance on the entire credit card. So even if you pay a little bit of it, you're still getting charged that whole amount. Don't buy stuff that you do not necessarily need to live. Invest in literally things. Have a Roth, get a Roth account, an IRA. Again, the Robinhood things, right? Find out the best way of investing your money, because later you will have a more financially stable place. I have a retirement account for myself, a Roth, and I do Robinhood. That's personal investing. So I pick out the stocks that I want to invest in that I think are going to be around for a while. Start investing. There's so many videos to get you started, and there's so many, sources and information that you can get to help yourself with these things. Again, don't pay full price for everything. Get coupons, find those deals, get a buy one and save, whatever, or, buy one, get one free, stuff like that. Start finding things to pay less. Find deals, okay? And if they're not on sale or if something's happened, don't buy it unless you need it. Don't buy it. If you have friends, I don't, but if you have friends and they like to go out and they like to drink and they like to, party and stuff like that, I'm not saying you can't go out, but be cautious of what you're spending when you do go out. Make sure you're not paying for 17 drinks because they get hecka expensive. Make sure that instead of Uber in there, you walk. You go walk, So finding cheaper ways to do things is what you really need to look for when you're living like you're broke, because you are. So finding the cheapest ways to do things helps. And then once you start saving up enough money and you start getting a little bit more comfy of where your money is all going, what it's in, where the number's at, then you can be like, okay, let me get myself a little treat. Let me get myself a little, nice pair of shoes, something like that. But other than that, if you are living like you are broke, do not spend it on things that you cannot afford. Because debt is something that a lot of people deal with. So make sure that you set yourself up for success now. If you're in your 20s, even if you're in the 30s, anytime you are watching this, honestly, even if you're a teenager, get yourself situated. Stop doing dumb shit. Stop doing dumb stuff. Stop paying for dumb things. Stop paying full price. And save. Save your money. And then, once you get everything figured out and your bills are covered and everything, then you can do a little fun stuff. You can spend it on a little, rock climbing or whatever you like to do for fun or get for fun. Because it's just a relief when you know, okay, I can pay my next rent bill. So with this video, I kind of just wanted to share with you guys some of the things that I do. All of these things are things that I do that ensure me my next month's rent. And when you're working 3 jobs and you're getting money in, save it. Do not spend it all, because let me tell you, when something goes wrong, you got a flat tire, you got to pay for something, you know, you got a medical issue, that extra safety fund is going to help a lot when you are in a pinch. So just know these things. Just be aware of how to do things more frugally. Even when you're traveling, there's ways to spend less money. Grocery stores. When you go to a grocery store, it is so much cheaper than going to a restaurant. You don't have to tip nobody. You don't have to, you know, the only thing you have to do is make the meal yourself, which is what you do anyways. So, you know, there's a lot of ways to do things on a budget. So I hope some of these tips helped you guys. Let me know what you guys do to live a little bit frugally, but these are just some of the things that I do. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, share, comment, subscribe, and everything is linked down in the description below, including my Patreon page, so if you want to go support, you can. Otherwise, peace out, enjoy life, live it up. Bye.